Well, welcome everybody. It's 7 o'clock, it's Monday, and that means it's the latest in our webinar series from the Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh on COVID-19. My name's Michael Griffin, I'm president of the college, and I'm just delighted to be with you. And I'm talking to you from rural Northumberland. It's been a beautiful day, but I've been in front of this screen for the last 8 hours, but looking forward to the highlight of the day, which is this webinar. And we're looking at telling you about the college and that it's open for business. It may be virtual, but it's still open for business. And it's been a difficult time. And you will have heard in the news today, if you're in the United Kingdom, from the Chief Medical Officer and the Chief Scientific Officer, that there are worrying trends in the increase in COVID cases. And what this means is that there will be increased hospital admissions and intensive care admissions. So it's a difficult time, and therefore it's a worrying time, and it's an uncertain time in a lot of different areas, whether it be education or exams. And I'm sure there are many of you who are waiting to hear more information. But at the moment, we will update you on where we are, both in exams and education, during the course of this webinar. But of course, it may change, and we are waiting for all 4 home nations to make decisions about perhaps more strict social distancing and more strict measures being put into place tomorrow. So I just want to introduce a fantastic panel today. We have our head of exams, Liz McKinney-Bennett, who will be known to many of you. She's appeared before, a star performer, and she's going to talk about what exams are planned for the future, with obvious caveats. We have our head of education, Yvonne Hurst, who has masterminded all the courses that you will have been seeing and the webinar series that we're running at the moment. And Yvonne is speaking to you from the borders, the rural borders as well. She's not far away from me, really. I'm on the English side of the border and she's on the Scottish side. And of course, we've got our beloved Director of Communications, Jan Cutting, who's revolutionized our comms department and marketing department in the short time that she's been with us. And she's going to talk to you about something that's very close to my heart, which is the new logo and the new app. And the new logo is something that I have been determined to achieve during my time as president. I wasn't the greatest fan of the last logo, well, I'm not going to say anything more about the logo because that's Jan's job, but I'm very proud of what she and the team have come up with, and it's entirely appropriate. We went live with this today. So exams, webinars, logos, apps, there's lots to talk about today. And the final introduction is to Chelia Selvaseka, who is our Director of Education and has served the college very well over many years now. And Sekar is a colorectal surgeon, laparoscopic surgeon at the Christie Hospital, and he's been Director of Education for the last 3 years. And I'm delighted to hand over to him to chair this webinar of Your College is Open for Business. Thanks very much. Over to you, Sekar.
Thank you, Mike. Thanks very much for a great introduction. We've got an hour to talk about Your College is Open to Business. The Edinburgh College, as you know, has been the college which has been around for over 500 years. We've got 3 important ladies of the college. We've got Yvonne Hurst, Liz McKinney-Bennett, and Janice. So the way I see it is we've got education and examination as 2 pillars. And we've got Janice, who is the head of marketing communication, which is very important to push the whatever we do in education and examination forward. The way we are going to run this webinar is by a presentation from Yvonne first, followed by Liz, and then by Janice, and then we'll take questions at the end. Thank you very much. Yvonne, do you want to start your presentation, please? And if you have any questions, please put them on the chat so that we can answer them as we go live. Thank you.
Okay, just bear with me. I was delighted to be asked to speak to you about what education has been up to, what we've been doing on the lead up to the lockdown, during the lockdown, and also what we've got planned going forward, as much as we can plan going forward. We are, and we have been throughout lockdown, open for business, but the way that we have been conducting our business, how we've been delivering our education, as you can imagine, has changed quite radically during this time. Usually, we've got a 16-strong team, and we're busy delivering a huge number of face-to-face courses every year around the UK, but also internationally. So we've got a team doing that. We've also got a team that are delivering live webinars to members and non-members alike of the college, usually on a weekly basis during the busy times outside the holidays. We also have our team taking these recordings of the webinars and making them available to our membership free of charge as part of the membership affiliate fellowship package. And we now are at the position that we've got an extensive library of archives which are regularly viewed by our membership. We also have online courses and resources, an area that we're expanding. And we continually review our educational offering to make sure it's up to date and it's what's needed. So we're reviewing what we're currently offering, but we're also looking at what we can add that's new, that's needed. And finally, we offer a service to external bodies whereby we quality assure their educational activity against our very high and exacting standards. But then in March, obviously, end of March, we went into lockdown and we had quite a big shift in focus. So from the end of March, beginning of April, we had to cease all of our face-to-face courses. And the plan was to reintroduce those come September. So a number of the staff were furloughed and the remaining staff were very busy expanding our online portfolio. We expanded it in response to what you told us you needed and you wanted from us. We introduced new webinar series, and one of those was a COVID-19 series, which is sort of morphing a bit into current hot topics series. And this covers the challenges that COVID-19 has brought to us from many different perspectives and different ways of coping with that and dealing with that. We've also been redesigning a good number of our courses so that we can deliver these online. It's not as simple as it sounds. It can take quite a bit of work to take a course that is normally face-to-face and actually make it work online. And the team have been very busy with that, but also developing new courses, some of them blended, and also we're looking at any new offerings, how we could deliver them both online or face-to-face, depending on the current climate. It also gave us an opportunity to look at our standards and our QA activity and review it and align it. So we've been very busy. If we drill down a bit detail-wise, and we start with our online offering, the online courses have continued uninterrupted, as you can imagine. The webinars have been more popular than ever, and this is a list of just the topics that we've covered in the 6 months since lockdown. It's absolutely blossomed, if you like, from what we had previously, to the extent that we had in the region of 30,000 attendees at our webinars and over 13,000 people viewing the recordings of the webinars. So probably not surprising in the current climate, but we've had a huge expansion in terms of uptake and also what we're able to offer. With regard to face-to-face courses, the team have been really busy doing one of two things. They're either redesigning existing courses for online delivery, you can imagine, some courses lend themselves better to online than others. And just as an example, we have our Edinburgh MRCS prep course now, which we can deliver online, and that's been hugely successful and actually lends itself extremely well to the online environment. Special care dentistry prep course is now online, and our surgical anatomy courses are due to go online from October. So that's our MRCS surgical anatomy courses that form part of the WADE program, and that's just a selection of them. The other thing the team's been looking at is how we can offer some of the technical skills courses that are arguably better delivered face-to-face because they do involve that interaction. How we can do that in a safe way using social distancing. So we've run both our basic surgical skills courses and our CRISP course already face-to-face very successfully, and great feedback from both faculty and from the delegates on the course. Later on this month, we have ATLS coming up and training the trainers. There are many other courses that we still are delivering one way or another, and probably the best way to see what we're delivering, when and how we're delivering it, is just to keep a careful eye on the website, because things can change quite rapidly. So, what are we going to be doing going forward? Well, we're proceeding carefully, but we're very enthusiastic. We now have everybody back in the team. We're prioritizing the courses that are critical for training progression, as you can imagine. So things like BSS and CRISP that are needed for the trainees are first on our list for either adapting for online or social distancing. We're continuing to respond to what is a rapidly changing landscape. And we get daily updates on what's happening so that we can make decisions accordingly. We have, since the beginning of lockdown, tried to keep the disruption for our delegates to the minimum. So one of the tasks for the team just at lockdown, one of the main tasks was trying to reschedule courses and get existing bookings moved to the new timetable so that people were disrupted as little as possible, or reimbursing them, for example, if they couldn't make a course. And we continue to keep an eye on waiting lists and try to cater for what everyone needs. Needless to say, what's paramount to us is ensuring that our delegates are safe, our faculty are safe, and our staff are safe. And in conjunction with that, responding to the changing landscape, we're looking at the guidance. And what you will get if you book on one of the courses is you will get advice sent out to you as to what measures we are taking for each course in order to keep you safe. As ever, we are mindful of, and we are extremely grateful for all the feedback you give us when you come on courses or just when you contact us, and we continue to take that into account. From our point of view, in addition to the challenges of the change and the unprecedented nature of the COVID-19 outbreak, we have issues with tissue availability. So it looks unlikely that we'll be able to run any cadaveric courses in the near future, but we will keep you posted on that. So they're probably the least likely, or the ones that will take longest to come back as our face-to-face courses. Also, our faculty are very much in demand. Some are shielding. Others are just in demand both as examiners, as well as faculty on our courses, but also with their day jobs in NHS. And again, we have to be sensitive to that and mindful of that. So all that said, we're doing everything we can to work around the challenges and to keep adapting and making sure that we can keep delivering exciting and innovative educational portfolio to you based on what you tell us and continue to tell us you need and want. As ever, your queries and suggestions and comments we very much welcome, and you can contact us on education@rcsed.ac.uk at any point. But obviously, as Sekar has already said to us this evening, I'd be delighted to take any questions through the chair that you have regarding our educational activity. And thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this today.
Thank you, Yvonne. That was a fantastic overview of what's been happening and what is happening at the moment going forward from the education perspective. So Next, we'll move on to Liz McKinney-Bennett, who is the head of examination, to give an overview on what is happening from the examination perspective. Thank you, Liz.
Thank you very much, Sekar. Well, we've obviously, again, had a very, very busy time during lockdown. Our final exams before COVID really hit us were right up until the 13th, 15th of March, when we were in Kuala Lumpur and in Cairo. Thankfully, we managed to get our teams back. And literally 2 weeks later, the college doors were closed to our staff. And so all of my team, all of my 26, bar 3 of us, were then furloughed for right through until the middle of June. But we weren't sitting on our own, not doing anything. We've been working really, really hard throughout to try to rearrange the exams that we've had to postpone. We've been looking after the candidates, making sure that we try to keep people as up to date as we possibly can. We all know it's a really, really complex and really moving so quickly sort of scenario that we're living in at the moment. But we have been trying to keep everybody in contact, keep everybody up to date with what we're doing. During the lockdown, as I say, we were trying to move a lot of our candidates to what we were hoping to be was going to be the next exam diets. And we did really well. We've probably had about 95% of our candidates who had been booked onto exams that moved on to the next one. So that's been really positive and made us all feel really, really confident that we can keep going and we will prevail through. We've decided that we would try to start planning the restart again of exams on the President's direction from the 1st of September. And actually we managed it. We did our very first exam on the 1st of September, and we're now into week 4 of pretty much back-to-back exams, and they've been in London, they've been in Edinburgh. So they're going really well. They're still face-to-face. Everybody's been so positive about it. The candidates have been hugely positive about it. Have the examiners and the candidates themselves. And I think once people got into it again, everybody really quickly actually forgot that, that we were in very difficult times. We're fully aware that some people find it odd to be trying to do an exam with a face mask on, or the communications are different. But again, this is the way that we're going to be in professional lives and in exams and in education, everything else. So again, it's just encouraging people to relax and to understand that the communication side of things is fully understood by all the examiners, and everything's good in that area. We've, as I say, we've been doing the face-to-face, going really well. We're really positive about being able to complete all our UK-based exams through until Christmas. However, and of course it's a huge however, we're not sure what's going to happen with government regulations and restrictions. Local lockdowns, regional and even national lockdowns are a possibility. So we're constantly working on our contingency planning and thinking, if this happens, what can we do? For example, with our MRCS exams in October, we spread our bets, if you like, and we've got exam centres in Sheffield, in Edinburgh, and down in the south of England in Buckingham. So we're hoping that we'll be able to accommodate everybody that's booked onto us. We've got about 250 candidates due to come through, which is huge and really positive. But we do have contingencies in each of those centres. So if we can't use Sheffield, because I'm aware that's at the moment on a bit of a watch list, we have other venues that we can go to in that area. So don't worry, we'll keep you up to date. You've heard, obviously, some colleges have been working and delivering exams online with varying degrees of success, to be absolutely honest. We've done some of our intercollegiate exams. We've done the MRCS Part A online. We've done the DONES Part 1 online, and we're heading towards doing the MFDS online, the Part 1 for that. And so we're working really hard to make sure that we can put our exams online as far as we possibly can, but that they have to be secure, they have to be competent, and everybody has to be confident that what we're doing is the right thing. And please be assured that we're not going to rush into doing online exams because of the people are. We will always make sure that the Edinburgh Standard is absolutely the most important thing. And when we're looking at any of the exams and any changes to any exams, like, for example, taking some of the clinical or the OSCEs online, we've applied three major principles to everything that we've done. We've said any changes that we propose cannot advantage or disadvantage any candidate, and that's the candidates we're talking about, that cohort, but also past and future cohorts as well. The standard is a standard, so we can't conceive of ever allowing someone to have something easier or something more difficult just for expediency's sake, because that then leads on to possibly the most important part, which is patient safety. We cannot possibly let anyone pass any of our exams, particularly the career permissive ones, that we would come to regret later on. And of course, the candidate and the examiner's safety is hugely important. So whenever we do any exam, whether it's face-to-face or whether it's looking at online delivery, we will always do our absolute utmost to make sure everyone's briefed, updated, communicated with, and then when they get to the venue, you can be absolutely assured that everything possible will have been done. And I'm known as a catastrophist because I always try and think what the worst thing could possibly go wrong could go wrong. So if it's not something I've thought of, then I've really not done very well. But we are trying our very, very best to keep everybody as safe as possible. We can't do anything about the government restrictions, and obviously if we are directed by government regulation, whether that's Scottish or English or UK law, then obviously we're going to have to adapt to that and work around those restrictions. But we're doing our very, very best. As I say, we're looking at delivery for online for some of certainly the smaller exams. We're confident we can deliver some of those, particularly the ones that are only smaller ones, like our joint specialty fellowship exams in the Far East. We can manage some of those more easily because they're a much smaller cohort. But we still are struggling to find an online provider that can deal with an OSCE, a proper circuit OSCE. And as I say, we're working intercollegiately with the other three colleges, and we're also working with our conjoint partners as well. So, for example, for MFDS, we run that with the Glasgow College. So we're well working hard for it. But as I say, we have to be absolutely certain that we are doing the right thing and the right thing for the candidates. And I think probably I could tell you what fantastic news about how many people we've examined already in the last 4 weeks. And basically, we're pretty much back to back, hopefully through until Christmas time. The only other area I'll touch on as well, because it is difficult, is our providing our service, our examinations to our international candidates. Dear to our hearts, of course you all are, and as soon as we possibly can deliver those exams to you, in person, online, or in some kind of hybrid format, then we will be doing that. I think that realistically, the chance of us going anywhere physically before the end of the year have diminished, really, really diminished, and we can be honest about that, I think. But we are doing everything we possibly can to reassess our programs and look at the contingencies, and so that as soon as we can, we will be trying our very best to service our international candidates, because you've got so valuable to us. So please be assured we're not in any way being UK centric. We are looking at everyone, which is why the online offering is so important to us, because we think that might help us get over the hump, as it were, to deal with our international candidates, certainly for the winter and spring of this year. So if that's okay, Sekar, I think that will do for me for now, I think. But obviously I'm happy to answer any questions that anyone might have about any aspect of the exams.
Thank you very much, Liz. That was a great overview. I think there's a question from Sai Whittle for you on the examination overseas. So I'm sure you will answer that live. So next, we'll go to Janice Cutting, who is the, as Mike has already told you, Janice is the Director for Membership, Marketing and Communication. I've known Janice now since she started in the college. It's been a great relation we've had with supporting education, always available. And marketing communication is the key going forward, because this is the way we are going to sell the college going forward, make people aware. And I'm already excited about the new logo and the app, because I've not had a chance to look at it. So let us listen to Janice and see what she has to say. Thank you, Janice.
Thank you very much, Sekar. Thank you for those kind words. I've absolutely loved being here. My hope was to try and bring some of the more clever and interesting things from marketing to bear on the college and try and help our members in all of that. So thank you for the opportunity. Hopefully everyone can see that screen. My colleagues will nod. Yes, that's great. So I wanted to talk to you about our new app, as we've talked about. Now, why do an app? And I talked about some of the benefits of bringing things from the other worlds, as it were, into our world. And to my mind, an app allows us to give you all the benefits that you have from the college, all the college resources, into a very simple and easy to use tool. Most of us now use our iPhone, our iPad, or any other types of tablet and phone to access information. And this app is exactly that. It gives you a simple way to search for information on courses, on events, any CPD that you might want, exams, of course, and to access all the library resources and the webinars. So in short, it makes it better for everyone, which is something that we're trying to do all across the board. So I just wanted to walk you through what the app looks like. I'll just move the page along so you can see a bit better there. So on the homepage, what will happen is if you're already a member of the college, you'll get straight through, and actually the homepage will welcome you, and it's very connected up to our new database. But you'll see it's very easily laid out there. You've got news, exams, events and courses, resources, and the all-important membership privileges. So on the news front, you can see the two slides there. You can filter news, depending whether you're a dentist, a surgeon, or any other type of experience that you want. You can also save any news articles down. So you see the little tab there on the side, little star. For all our screens, you can save the news items that are interesting to you. And actually at the moment, we've been doing a lot, as Mike said at the beginning, we've been doing a lot of work to lobby on behalf of our members and fellows. And we've been working closely with government. Mike meets with government regularly. So we're trying to be on the front foot with everything to do with COVID. So you will find in the news articles, all of these articles and issues that we've raised or press statements that we've created where we're trying to lobby on your behalf. So you may find those interesting. Then we have a whole bunch of resources which start at the beginning with webinars. As Yvonne talked about, our webinar series have been vitally important throughout this whole pandemic. We set up our COVID webinars for a Monday night, this slot, to try and share what we know, what our surgeons know, what our dentists know about the COVID situation with all of those members and fellows, so that we can really just share what we know. So the beauty of this is that you can now watch these webinars, either live or the archived webinars, on your iPhone or any phone. Actually, I keep saying iPhone. You can tell where my heart lies. On any phone or any tablet. The other joy is that you can actually cast those webinars to your television. So if you have a smart television, which most people now do have, or any kind of casting facility, you can cast that webinar onto your television so you can relax and enjoy some of the learning opportunities. We've actually been running a huge series led by Mike Silva, who runs our Regional Surgical Advisors Network. He's been running webinars that are specific to 4th and 5th year and FY1 and 2 surgeons going through, and they've been immensely popular. We've also introduced podcasts now. So again, you can listen to the podcast on your way to work or in the car or wherever you like. And that will give you up-to-date information on specific topics. We're building our library of those at the moment, but watch out because there's going to be plenty more of those in the future. We've then also got library services, and I know that these are hugely important, especially when you are going through the early stages of your career. And the library services gives you an ebook collection, a whole literature search. So if you're studying something specific and you can't find it, you can actually search here on the app and get into these documents. And there's also a document supply service. So this will take you through to a simple email where you can email our librarians and ask for something specific to be delivered back to you. So the ebook collection, and then of course Ackland's Anatomy, which is very useful again in those early stages of career. You can click straight through. So instead of having to dig through the website, you'll just be taken to the exact login part. And if you're already logged in, it'll take you right through. The other great one is actually Surgeons News, which actually, because of the pandemic, we haven't been able to print the last 2 versions, mainly because the printers have not been operating. I think we'll be printing in December again, which is good news, all being well, as Liz said, fingers crossed that all goes well. So here, again, you can open not only the current version of Surgeons News, but any archived versions as well. And you can read them on your iPad if you're one who likes to, or your tablet. If you like to read magazines on your tablet, you can see articles. And again, because of this, we're going to develop Surgeons News in such a way that there will be links within the magazine. So it might take you through to a video, a blog, an interesting article online. So it'll be much more interactive than it was before. And again, all important, and Liz has detailed where the exams, where they are and what we're doing. And in order to keep absolutely up to date with which exams are running, where they're going to be running, the app will give you a full listing. And again, you can filter this little button on the right-hand side. You'll be able to filter for your area of interest, and you'll be able to save down exams. So you'll be able to save the ones that you're interested. You might have searched for a few, for example, and you just might want to put them aside and think about when you might want to do them. The same with events and courses. So again, as Yvonne explained, we run a whole host of courses which are not just the key examinations, but the prep courses, the basic surgical skills course, which is a must for everyone going through. And those are all listed there so that you can save them down. And again, it takes you through to the website. Obviously, ultimately, you still book in the same way, but it just gives it in one place and in a handy area. Finally, on the app, and not least, we actually have all the areas of the benefits. We call them privileges. But if you're a member or a fellow or an affiliate member of the college, you are entitled to several benefits, which is fantastic. Number 1 on the list, and hopefully we're at the 10 Hill Place, the hotel, as Mike said, is working away, still busy, obviously pending any government changes, and particularly Scottish government changes, given that we're or the hotel itself is based in Edinburgh, but you get 15% discount over any stays in the hotel. And again, the app will take you through to a neat little email or phone so that you can phone them up and make your booking. You also can avail yourselves of our newest item, which is Surgeons Quarter Travel. As Liz mentioned, we go to over 100 places internationally to run exams and events, etc. So our team were very good at actually booking travel for all the faculty that were going out, examiners and so on, to these international places, and indeed bringing people in for exams in the UK. So it made sense actually to extend that and to have a travel service. And again, there's discounts there for members and fellows. And again, one click there and you can be through to the operator talking about, if we ever get to travel again, talking about your next holiday. Let's fingers crossed for that. And again, Surgeons Hall Museum and things like privilege cards. We have a totem card for students and so on. So really everything that you could need from us is in that app at the moment. Of course, please download it. It'll be available from tomorrow in the Google and Apple App Store, and download it. And also please give us feedback if you think there's anything else you want us to add in future. Obviously, we've worked hard over this lockdown period to build it for you. And we've put in everything we think you might need, but there's obviously always things that we can develop. So we're obviously open to interesting thoughts about what you might want to see. You'll notice a little ad campaign running over the next few weeks, mainly digital advertising, nice and efficient, but that will run throughout, and there's a little video that explains just what I've explained to you in detail about each of the member privileges, how it will work, what screens you'll see. So that's it on the app front at the moment. Obviously happy to take questions at the end. And for those of you with very sharp eyes, you will have noticed, and Mike indeed mentioned it at the beginning, that we've changed the logo. Having a new app meant that we had this opportunity, one-time opportunity, to have a go at the logo and have a look at it. And so I just wanted to talk you through a bit of that. Here's our crest. So the crest is very important to the college, and it's something that we still use. It sits on all of your diplomas, all of your certificates. So it's not going away anywhere. It's absolutely staying put. But we wanted to really sort of show ourselves. We have to use a smaller logo often in social media, and we wanted to show ourselves in a different light. There's lots of really important things that are useful for us to say. And again, having a sort of shorthand, a logo that will work with that is really important. So when I was looking at developing the logo, I tried to look at everything in the crest and pick out the things that were really key to us. Clearly, Edinburgh is one of our big differentiators. I like to say that we're of Edinburgh, but for the world. We're truly international, and the Edinburgh badge, if you like, goes a long way internationally. Edinburgh is known for innovation in medicine. It's, the seat of learning for medicine. And we have been the oldest college. I need to say probably the oldest surgical college in the world, because you never know. But, our 1505 is hugely important to us. It's a long innings, 515 years, but it's born out of that heritage, but innovation, all the time, innovation. The other key feature is our sun, which if you've been to the college, you will see on a lot of it's on our plaque outside the front door, celebrating our quincentenary. And it means the sun rising over ignorance. So it felt really important to us, and it is a little measure for us that's really important. The other piece is that we were missing then in action some part of our heraldic past, if you like. So one of the things that we did, we worked with the library, and Stephen Kerr, who's our librarian, who's at your beck and call, should you want to dig any deeper in any kind of material, he will find it for you. And we came up, in fact, with the unicorn. This is our brief, by the way, just skipping past. Our brief was to bring out more of the heritage, as I talked about, showing 1505, as I talked about, a bit more gravitas, showing that we're powerful to lobby on your behalf, but also very benevolent, forward-thinking, international, and friendly. We're always known as the Friendly College. So as I say, Stephen did some digging for me, Stephen Kerr, our college librarian, and found out that the unicorn actually was a much-loved heraldic animal used by James IV, which is interesting because James IV gave us our royal decree, so it felt perfect. He used, in fact, the unicorn on his money, with a unicorn on one side and the sun, believe it or not, on the other side. And of course, unicorns are known as animals of healing, horses of healing. And there's a lot of mythology about the unicorn, but it's all very, very positive. They bring good fortune, they bring healing, they have magical powers. What's not to love about a unicorn? The other thing about a unicorn is that Edinburgh is based in Scotland, and the unicorn is the heraldic animal of Scotland. And he's not used that much, although he is in the United Kingdom, or he or she, it is in the United Kingdom crest. So we felt that that was quite important. So we also did some checking. Is the unicorn, felt to be positive all over the world? And yes, indeed, unicorns in Chinese mythology are actually believed to be one of 9 mythical monsters who were sons of a dragon with the ability to tell good from evil. So again, very positive. And again, in India, Mesopotamia, they've been around for a very long time, over 2700 BC. And it was always described as a creature of great power and great wisdom. So that felt right for us. And the qualities of said unicorn: innocence, purity, boldness, pride, healing powers, joy, intelligence, virility, nurturing powers, hope, and positivity. So all in all, we liked very much the unicorn and what it stood for. So here it is. You've seen it on the bottom of all the slides, so it's no surprise. So he is, again, there's a study of semiotics that I tell people, which is the study of how we read symbols. And our unicorn is facing to the right, rather. He's rising up and facing to the right, which means that it is very forward thinking. It's pointing to the future, really. And that's what we believe. We feel that we're rooted in the past, in heritage, but that was about innovation. We're very much about looking forward, looking at the future. And as I say, Edinburgh and 1505 are part of our heritage, and the sun is there, but the sun has an international world inside of it because we're reaching out to the whole world. And that is my little unicorn. I shall show you We also have a shorthand version of it, which sits nicely just with our CSED. So you will see that on the app of tomorrow, and you will see it all across all of our stationery, etc. We're doing it in a very low-cost way. We don't want to be spending money at this time. It's not the time to be spending money, but we can change everything electronically because we're using people are not necessarily using letterheads and leaflets anymore. So all of the material will change just as quickly as we possibly can. So I hope you like it, and thank you for listening. Thank you for allowing me to share all of that with you. And please do download the app tomorrow and tell me what you think and give us feedback. Thank you very much. Over to you, Sekar.
Thanks very much, Janice. That was a great presentation, and also to know about a surgical history. It has been good. Thank you. Thanks very much. So there have been some questions which have come through. Just to start off with, there's one to Yvonne. Can you tell us about the opportunities for training cardiac surgery by Edinburgh College? Any advice, especially for international foreign surgeons? Would you be able to answer that live?
Yep, I think probably the best route for that query would be to the postgraduate deanery within our college. So they offer opportunities for international trainees to work in UK hospitals, and they have different pathways in which can be followed depending on what the needs of the trainee are. Basic training, as in educational provision, we have a webinar series, I think several now, on cardiothoracic surgery that can help supplement training. But if it's actually hands-on training, I would suggest contacting the college, the postgraduate deanery in Birmingham, and I'm sure they'd be delighted to give you details.
Thank you, Yvonne. And what do you think about the SSBs? Will they be a source as well? Resource for international graduates?
I think it certainly wouldn't do any harm asking them. But if somebody's looking for training in the UK as an international surgeon, I would probably, obviously the COVID aside, I would be looking to the postgraduate deanery to advise on that generically. And certainly the SSB could supplement the information as well.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
so next going to Janice, there is some advice there. If you could add Twitter links to the news stories on the app, they can be instantly retweeted. So I'm sure you have.
Thank you very much for that. Yes, that's a very good idea. Thank you.
And the second, there's another question about how to become a member of the RCS Ed.
Okay, so membership is very easy. Well, membership is not easy. Actually, it needs Liz and one of her exams. But you can be, if you're thinking of becoming a surgeon, if you're at the early stages of your career, we welcome anyone in medical school who has an interest in surgery, and you can join as an affiliate member. And actually, at the moment, we're offering affiliate membership for free if you're at a UK university or an international university, in fact. So please do sign up. On the app, again, there's a link. If you're not already a member, then you can click on that and you could become a basic affiliate membership. Obviously, to become an MRCSED, so a full member of the college, then you need to sit Liz's exams, Part A and Part B, and then you will be allowed to push forward and be elected as a member of the college. And we're very keen to welcome everyone at the start of their journey, anywhere through the journey, we will welcome everyone, but we're very keen to help with people at the start of their journey and give them all these resources and help them with prep courses and help them to work towards the membership exam. We've got lots of resources that you can use in that. And as I say, lots of courses on the way to getting there. And as Liz has said, we want to make sure that our exams are held in high esteem. So the quality of our exams is very high, and we make sure that when people come through, we bring them through that whole process, and you can then pass through your diploma ceremony. At the moment, not in person, unfortunately, due to COVID, but we are working on online ceremonies coming up. So very keen to have you. If you're further on through your career, we're always interested in people who might want to join us in addition to the college they may already be with, or if they wanted to switch, we'd be, again, very happy to help them out with that.
Thank you, Janice. Just to touch upon this affiliate membership, what are the advantages do medical students get by affiliating with Edinburgh College?
Thank you, Seeker. I've actually got a slide for that. I'll just share screen quickly on that one. Again, thank you for the opportunity to talk about that. So if we offer free affiliate membership for a year, but obviously we can take you through all of that, and it gives you access to everything I talked about on the app. So you have library services, the Ackland Anatomy, the webinars that we talked about, the podcasts, Surgeons News magazine, of course, and the app that I talked about. But more importantly, we also have access to the Regional Surgical Advisors Network. And I mentioned that was led by Mike Silva, who is a surgeon in Oxford. And he has a team of regional surgical advisors right across the UK. So there'll be one local to you. And they set up most of our outreach work, all of our outreach work. So there's loads of networking opportunities for you. And we run each year skills competition, both for dental and surgical. And this year, under the direction of Angus Watson, who's one of our council members, he has pulled together the skills competition online. So what everyone will get now is a skills box, and they'll be able to try out some of the surgical activities, and there'll be a final as soon as we can next year. Hopefully by September things will be looking good, and we'll be able to get people in person. But this gives you a chance to hone your skills, to see how you are with different aspects of surgery. So really there's a whole host of activities for medical students, and we really try and help you at every place on the journey and help you make that journey along. I hope that helps, Sekar. I'll stop.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks very much. A couple more before I move on to Liz. Jan, I get a lot of contact from students and trainees via the RSA network. Will those details go onto the app? It's for you, I think, to answer.
Okay, so contact details themselves. So we are very, very protective of contact details, and we abide by the GDPR rules, so rules of using data. So what happens if the RSA network hears of someone who wants to be a member, then absolutely they show them how to join. And then when you sign up on the website, you can decide what kind of contact you want from us. So you can choose your own consent levels, and that's the way it must be done, really. And again, when we're talking to universities and offering affiliate membership to students, we say to the universities, this is what we offer. Here is where to go to sign on, so that no data is ever shared. It's really about people contacting us, saying that the affiliate membership is there, and then them coming in to the website and signing up in that way. So it's all very safe and secure. I don't know if that answers the question, Sekar, but
I think with the GDPR and things, we have to just be a bit mindful about sharing. I think that's fine. Thanks very much. Finally, I think it looks like a candidate has become a member of the college, but he just wants to know how to get the certificate because I think what been sent. He's asking about if the membership department is open. I'm sure it is open.
We are open, yes. Thank you for asking that. That's a really interesting question to raise for this. Again, challenges over the past 6 months. We have been working from home. And so we've been working through the certificates. Each of our certificates are personally signed by the president and by the honorary secretary. So we have been shipping when we could. We had to wait until the government allowed us to do certain things. But as soon as we could, we shipped them off down to Mike Griffin and to Judy Evans, who's our honorary secretary. And they signed around about 900 certificates. And we're in the process of shipping those out now. So apologies if you're still waiting for your certificate. We know it's hugely important to you. There are just some issues, particularly in Scotland, which I think we were slightly tighter for slightly longer, just getting people into the office and being able to package those certificates up. They're beautiful certificates. you've worked really hard for them, and we know that you need them, absolutely. But we want to take very good care with them. And obviously, as we talked about with the data, so we've been packaging them and shipping them very carefully, bringing them back, and then obviously putting them into the proper tubes and sending them out to you. So if you haven't got it yet, you will be getting it shortly, because we are starting to really motor now through these, through the backlog, if you like, of these certificates. So thank you for asking that. It was an important one to share.
Thanks, Jan. I think now you can have a bit of a rest. So now, next moving to Liz, about the exam. Would you be able to tell us more, just a bit more details about this membership, MRCS Section B of the exam planned for October? What is the current process which is going to be followed?
Absolutely, thanks, Eka. Yes, I'll briefly touch on that. There's the MRCS Part A, which is a written exam, which for the first time ever in all our hundreds of years of existence, we ran that online, which was fantastic. And bearing in mind, there's about 4,500 candidates worldwide. 1,500 of those were ours, were Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh. So that was absolutely fantastic. As you'd imagine, there was a few people who did have some technical issues, and we're gathering the information and the data about those at the moment. And the ICBSE, the Intercollegiate Board, have already released a statement recently about, to acknowledge there's been a problem, and that planning is ongoing to come up with a mitigation. But once we found out the scope of the problem and the details of how it happened. So please be assured, again, the vast majority of people sat it extremely successfully around the world. But everybody who did have a little struggle with it is hugely important to us. And so we will be making sure that all those issues are dealt with and people's concern will be satisfied. So moving on to the Part B OSCEs, which is we're running exams, as I said earlier on, in October, pretty much back to back. We only have a certain window where we're able to run those exams. And it's a 12-day exam window, and we're running exams, hopefully, for 12 of those, for 10 of those 12 days. So we're going to be working pretty hard. We've got 3 days down in Sheffield, 3 days up in Edinburgh, and 2 days down at the University of Buckingham. As we said, we're doing everything we can to make it as safe as we possibly can. The examiners are raring to go. The staff are raring to go to do it. The couple of things that really need to be emphasised about the structure of the exam, as we know, it's the exam. You go around a circuit and you answer questions and scenarios and deal with what faces you on the day. We will be there will be anatomy questions. There'll be all the usual stuff. There'll be communication scenarios with lay examiners and with actors. So it will be very, very similar. A couple of small differences. We had to apply but the Intercollegiate Board had to apply to the GMC in order to present a slightly different circuit for the OSCE. So rather than it being 17 stations, we're changing it down to 13 stations. This is more so that we could deliver it equally online, remotely, or face-to-face. And so the GMC agreed that this was fair and reasonable, and we had to demonstrate that we'd gone through and looked at all the possible scenarios, that we'd looked at the types of scenarios we were putting in, made sure that all the marking rubrics were correct, and that the right kind of challenge was being set for the candidates. So that it wasn't going to be any easier, but it certainly wasn't going to be any harder. And so we've answered all those questions from the GMC, and we're ready to go. So it'll be a 13-station circuit, whether it's delivered remotely or whether it's delivered face-to-face. We are intending, as far as we possibly can, to deliver that face-to-face. However, if any of the colleges, any of the 4 Royal Surgical colleges, if there's any candidates that, if we lose a venue or we even lose a diet, a series of exams themselves, there is the potential. There is the potential for us to run a joint across the 4 colleges online exam in November. We don't think at the moment that we've got something we could deliver online in October, as we plan to do, as we'd scoped the possibility of being able to do that. Frankly, the platform provider just couldn't deliver it well enough. And it's as blunt as that. And we weren't satisfied. GCSE weren't satisfied with that. So we're going with face-to-face first, but with an online option as a fallback. And that will be delivered at sometime, if we need it, but we probably will, the last week in November. But that will be unique again in that the examiners will be taken from across all 4 of the Royal Surgical Colleges. So different things, different challenges we've got to cope with, but what we're absolutely committed to doing is making sure that it's the best possible exam experience for every one of our candidates, and we won't let it be anything less than.
Okay. Thank you, Liz. That was quite detailed. Just
Sorry.
a bit of, previously candidates were taking 18 stations. So are they getting a bit more easy right now with 13 stations? Is it an easier time to get through the membership exam?
I think if you say it's the very least we could do, I think it's going to be even more challenging for the candidates, and we acknowledge that, and the GMC acknowledge that as well. And it wasn't an easy proposal to make, and I'm sure certainly the GMC have ragged us hard on justifying and making sure that they were satisfied again for the greater benefit of the profession. But we're absolutely convinced that with everything else that those candidates are going to have to contend with, that it's only fair. And it's just everything for the administration to allow everything to be clean between the candidates, to make sure the staff are safe, moving the paperwork around, to make sure the candidates are safe. It's trying to find that balance between putting them under enough pressure, which they're always going to be put under pressure, particularly now, but also being safe and being realistic about what we're asking those candidates to do and asking them to perform in a particularly odd environment. So some parts of it are operational. It's just we've got time to move people around safely and things to be cleaned, but also just bearing in mind that the candidates they're certainly going to be tested. I think that's safe to say.
Okay, thank you, Liz. That's helpful. Previously, candidates were told that they should have bare below the elbows and certain dress code. Is there anything specific because of COVID they need to follow for the MRCS exam?
That's a brilliant question, because in the past we've had, when certain candidates have wanted to wear face coverings for cultural reasons or religious reasons, we have always made it clear that that's entirely their right and their choice to do that. But we have made a statement that it may affect the way that they're perceived in communication. And, that's the way it's been. But absolutely not this time round. The examiners will be doing absolutely everything that they can to put the candidates at ease. In no way will their communication mark down at all. It will be a challenge. It's going to be a challenge for the examiners and for the candidates, and we absolutely get that, and we'll do everything that we possibly can. But candidates, at the moment, we are expecting that candidates and examiners will be wearing face coverings throughout the exam.
Okay, thanks very much, Liz. Just to go to Yvonne before we have a take-home message from all 3 of you. For Yvonne, a question about this online MRCS course. Mm-hmm. How does this compare? Can you just explain a bit more in depth, because that has been very successful from the college perspective. And it is available for international graduates, international medics as well. So can you explain how is it being run, and how do people register for that, please?
They would be able to go to the website and register for it. I think it's been remarkable how well we've managed to adapt the face-to-face course and take all the principles from it, the same learning outcomes, but to make the best of the online environment. So the delegates are still split into small groups. They still go through a mock practice with others observing them. They have the same number of faculty, and they are highly experienced faculty. It's still run across 2 days. I think it's quite intense for everybody, and I think we've all found that working through Zoom and working remotely, that staring at a screen for a day, or in the case of that course, 2 days. But actually, the feedback we've been getting from the the delegates on the course has been extremely positive. And I sat through one delivery of the course for the 2 days, and I was extremely impressed with the level of individual feedback that's given by the different faculty members to each of the candidates or each of the delegates, tailored to them, hints and tips, is just superb. So from my point of view as head of education, I'm absolutely delighted to see it, and also see it be able to reach so many new people that perhaps it hasn't before because it's not been online. So I think quite in some cases, being locked down and having to think about what we do and adapt it can have its advantages, because we can take what has been a hugely successful course and actually reach more people with it.
Thank you very much. I think we're past the hour. So can we have one take-home message from all three of you, please, for the candidates who wants to take the exam, something from Liz, something from Yvonne, and also from Janice. So let us start.
I think my takeaway would be, please trust us. Trust us that we'll keep you safe. Trust us that we will deliver the best possible exam for you. You're absolutely at the centre of everything that we do. You're our reason for being. So please have faith in us, trust us, and we will prevail together.
That's a great message. Thanks, Liz. I think that is the sort of a reassurance candidates who take both the membership and fellowship exams need. So coming to Yvonne.
I would say that at the heart of everything we do, especially at the moment, is safety and the well-being of everyone that's involved in our courses, but also maintaining that quality that we're renowned for. And as a team, as a college, because it's not just within education, we all work together as a team. We approach it with the innovation that Jan has mentioned that is central to our brand, something that's always been there, and also the enthusiasm. We love to innovate. We're enthusiastic about what we do, and throwing down the gauntlet and saying, we've got to do something new in this new environment, we'll rise to it because we enjoy it, and so do our faculty.
Okay, another great message. Knowing Yvonne as working with education, she always gets the surgeon straight by bringing in these educational principles. Thank you, Yvonne. Thanks for that. So finally, Janice.
Jan. So, we are here to make it better for you, quite simply. We're here to deliver all the resources that you need, the support you need. We lobby on your behalf. If there's something that you want us to do for you that you think we can help you with, then please get in touch. We're here for you, and we would just like to help you through your career and help you to network and to meet others.
Thank you very much. That's a fantastic message. So finally, we can conclude. Thank you, all three ladies, and also Abby, who has been in the background, making sure that the whole webinar has been running well. And thanks to the college and all the members and the fellows who've been very supportive. Thank you all very much. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.